People who believe in it, I have seen it work miracles for them quicker than expected. Also, start to read new material around money. You want to learn financial literacy. Hey, Lexus, what's going on? How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for joining me.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, we got like a small 45-minute window here where I'm just going to be going over information.
I just recently got out of my job that I've been at for 5 years. I was bartending for a very long time. And throughout the bartending, COVID had happened and it kind of messed up, my job for a while, and they let all of us go.
Mm-hmm.
So while I was unemployed, ran through my credit cards, had to take out a loan because, I was living on my own at the time. And now it's just a game of playing catch up with like credit cards and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
What are the things now that, you're trying to catch up and overcome your obstacles? What are the things now that, like, let's say you get beyond all of your obstacles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've got a great credit score. What are the things that you see yourself doing next when you're in a better position?
I definitely see myself purchasing a property. I actually have always wanted to purchase like a duplex specifically. So yes, I see myself definitely buying a property because I'm definitely looking for different sources of income. And I also own a small skincare business too. So I'm just looking for different outlets, but mainly buying like a duplex and renting it out. That's a big goal for me. And I know that my credit needs to be a lot better in order to do that.
Okay, cool. All right, Denise, come on real quick. Tell us a little bit about yourself. And Denise, meet Lex. Lex, meet Denise. Denise has a background in skin and hair products too.
I have a money business and I'm currently just enrolled in aloe vera.
Oh, that's super cool.
All right, so real quick, I'm going to go over a couple of secrets, which Lex, you already went through number one, which is like, a lot of the feedback that I've been getting lately is that people have been signing up for credit repair services and either getting left on payment plans or people are collecting money from them and not really doing any services, as well as getting them to sign up for that monthly payment on a credit monitoring platform. So Lex, you've already pulled your credit report, right? And Denise, do you remember the last time you pulled yours?
I don't believe I ever have.
Okay. Well, it's absolutely free and I'm going to send you the link so that you can pull them later. But what's going to happen is I have the documents right here. I'm going to be sharing these documents with you after a call. Being privileged with this information, I've been through the credit repair process myself on multiple occasions. So I got some inquiries on my report that I'm going to be wiping through. So secret number one is the fact that you can pull your credit reports for free with no money down or no monthly payments whatsoever. As soon as you pull your reports, granted, doing it with this method, you don't get access to your credit score, but you can get your score through Credit Karma, Credit Sesame. It's still not accurate as a lender pulling your score, but it's going to give you an idea of where you're at, right? That's number one. Number two is that the collections agencies, right, who are calling you and soliciting money from you, they're actually operating illegally. And the reason why is because you guys did not sign any original agreement with them directly. So basically what happened is they bought your debt from the original creditor and they basically assumed that debt and assumed that you're going to be ready, willing, and able at some point to pay it back. So now they're calling you, hounding you for some monies that you don't necessarily owe them at all. So that's why with these documents, it's actually a notification of identity theft and a request to block information resulting from identity theft. I start round one with these documents because it's the most aggressive form of disputing your accounts, right? Especially the credit collection accounts, because those accounts are actually from agencies that bought your debt and are trying to collect money from you when you have absolutely no agreement. You didn't get a phone from ABC Collections. You got a phone from Sprint, right? But ABC Collections is trying to collect. You didn't get a car loan from 123 Collections. You got a car loan from Capital One, right? But 123 Collections is trying to collect. Your information was transferred over to somebody else without your consent. They're reaching out to you and trying to collect money from you. Secret number 3 is that anybody can send these letters out to each of the credit bureaus. You don't have to pay anybody to do it. You don't have to have any special license or certification for you to do this process. You can do it by yourself. And there's a whole bunch of things in the process that people are going to try to sell you on. They're just presenting value because yes, they are willing to do it for you, right? Or they're willing to do it on your behalf. But it's not necessary. If you have the ability, if you have the time, and you have the knowledge to do it on your own, I would say take advantage of the free knowledge and information and just do your due diligence, do the process, right? Because unless you're making enough money to pay somebody and not care whether or not they deliver a result, the only person who's hurting from bad credit is you. The only person that's really going to matter to is you and your family, right? Nobody else cares. Lexus, whatever that company is, they don't care. As long as they get you on that monthly payment, they don't care what the results of your credit is. In fact, they want to keep you on that payment as long as possible so that they can keep getting recurring income. They're not caring whether or not they see you or hear from you ever again. And they're only reaching out to you every once in a while with an update just to keep you on the hook, right? For that monthly payment. So you can do this by yourself, with or without anybody else, right? And then secret number 4 is that the dispute letters are written in a simple language that virtually anybody can read, write, and understand, right? So these documents do have some legal terminology on there because it's referring to the Fair Credit Reporting Act. But there are other letters that are round 2, round 3, round 4 that are a bit softer and, softer language, very easy, very simple, but effective. The last secret pretty much is authorized user trade lines. Authorized user trade lines, it sounds like in a sense, those apps are kind of doing something similar to that. Having somebody who is responsibly managing any line of credit that they're willing to add you onto the account. So the way you want to present it is, number 1, you want to make sure they understand that it's not illegal, that it's not something that can't be done or shouldn't be done, right? Number 2, you want to let them know that they're not going to give you access to the line of credit, meaning the credit card that does get printed with your name on it is going to get mailed to them directly. It's not going to get mailed to you. It's going to be difficult to convince him if it's coming from you. If you're trying to convince him, he might not listen to you. You have little to no influence because you're not in a position you're not displaying any responsibility. I would say you could put me and him on a call and he could hear it from me and I'll explain it to him. Like, listen, Steven's never even going to see the card. As soon as you get the card in the mail, you just cut the card up and nobody can ever touch it. And it would be ideal if he can do it for both you and Denise. So Lex, same thing with you. If you have any aunts, uncles, sisters, brothers who have any lines of credit, or your parents, any lines of credit that they're willing to add you onto, knowing that they maintain low balances, right? You only want to do it if they're maintaining their balances under 30%. Under 10%, even better. But as long as they're under 30% and they're responsible with those lines of credit, then it's worth being added as an authorized user.
I guess my question is, what's the best way for me to pay the credit card? Sometimes I see people say, oh, pay it a week before the day is actually due, and then pay it again that day. It looks like you made 2 payments. I really don't understand what they're trying to say when they say that. So what's the best way for me to pay my credit cards?
So before your reporting date, you want to have a balance under 30%. Then you want to try to make sure that you can just keep it. You want to rearrange your lifestyle to where you can keep it under 30%. So let's say you're at 5,000, 20% of that would be 1,000. Let's just start limiting yourself to spending no more than $1,000 at a time. So like that, every time you make a payment, you are staying below that 30% threshold. So you know your new limit, right, mentally is $1,000, but in an emergency you can spend up to $1,500. But what I would do is I would try to pay that down. I wouldn't bring it to zero. Don't ever pay your credit cards down to zero. You got to think about it like this. It's going to factor in all the accounts individually. Like, how are you treating the one debt that you have with Capital One? And how are you treating the other debt that you have with Best Buy? And your utilization for each account, not as a whole. It is going to help, right? Because you have access to more credit, but it's not going to be as effective if you're maxed out on one credit card and it just looks like you have a $30,000. You're going to see a greater increase on your score by maintaining your balances for each account under 30%. At the end of the day, we get ourselves in these positions based on our behavior. This is all about money mindset, right? Because this call right here is just the start of like putting into my community. Like, you guys are gonna learn new money behaviors. So if you can treat each account individually, respectfully like this, you know, if you gotta use it, use it. Use it at 20%. On an emergency basis, max it out at 30%. But always pay it and keep it paid below the 30% threshold.
Okay, so earlier you said don't ever pay a card down to zero. I did that a few months ago with my Best Buy card. I owed them $1,600 and I just paid the $1,600 and they completely closed my account down. That brought my credit score down probably like 80 points. It brought it down really bad. So how can I fix that? So does that, like, it doesn't go to collections because it's paid off, but it's still affecting my credit score. So how can I fix that?
Okay, so the reason why that happened is because it reported at zero, right? So now it's worse to have credit and not use it than it is to not have it at all. And the reason why is because when it reports at zero, it looks as if you don't touch your credit. So you don't want the credit lines to report at zero. You want it to report some utilization because the name of the game is credit. Right?
Right.
So the reason credit is there and it's a game is because it's there to be used. So you have to show utilization. Otherwise, that creditor is going to assume that you're not in need of the line of credit. So for now, the only thing, was that card behind on payment or?
I was behind maybe like once or twice, just me just simply forgetting to pay it. But it really wasn't that bad. Like, it wasn't getting close to like them like closing the card down because they didn't pay it. They just closed it. I paid it off in one shot, which I didn't know at the time I shouldn't have done. I thought it was better. Oh, let me just, bring my debt down a little bit, but it made it worse.
Yeah. So, I think that one you're probably just gonna have to bite the bullet and just take it as a learning lesson. Because right now with credit repair, you're just gonna want to sweep anything that's negatively impacting your score, and that probably brought your score down because you no longer had access to that much credit. If you have the opportunity to apply for deferment again, I would do it. For that, you're gonna have to go to the student loan department and submit that application to have it deferred. If you do have the opportunity to pay it, then so what lenders usually do on the for home purchase, they're going to look at 10% of the monthly payment or 1% of the total balance, whichever one is greater, and that's how they're going to calculate it when it comes to your debt to income ratios. So when you're considering a payment plan, you want to keep that in mind. It's like, all right, how much do I owe? And then what is the offer on a monthly payment that they're giving me, and how is that going to reflect? So in order to better understand that, you can have a conversation with a lender so that when you go to negotiate that payment plan, you know exactly what number you should be at so that your debt to income ratios make sense when you go to purchase a property. Okay. And then if anything, the next time I host this call, I could probably have a lender get on it as well so that they can break down how that's calculated and give you some basic math on how to go about that. Essentially, those are the basic secrets that I wanted to just get through. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, what I'm going to be doing is, Denise and Steven, I'm going to be sending you the link for you guys to pull your credit reports And you guys can do so absolutely free. Again, it's just your credit report. It's not going to have any impact on your score. It's not going to give you a score either. It's just pulling your reports so you know what's accurately on there. So these documents, what you want to do is 3 documents. You're going to sign, date, put your address, social, date of birth on it on the first page. On the second page, you need to get it notarized. And the third page, you also need to get it notarized. So don't sign and date those yet until you're sitting in front of a mobile notary or a notary public at the bank. So pretty much, I'm going to send you these documents. You're going to fill out the information as accurately as possible on all 3 pages. And then on the last 2 pages, there's 2 pages where you're going to list. On this page here, I set up a little table. And you're going to list the name of the account that is negatively impacting your reports. You're going to list the account number, and then you're going to list not the date that it hit your report or not the date that has been reported, the date that the account was opened and nothing else. And then you're going to take this second table here and you're going to list the account of the inquiries. You're going to look at all your hard inquiries, list every account, and then list the date of the inquiry. If you have an account of inquiries that has multiple dates, I would use the first date of those multiple dates. So on that last sheet, you're going to list the inquiries that you want to have removed and then the date of the inquiry. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna sign and seal everything. You're gonna fold this paperwork up, attach a copy of your ID and social to it as well. And then you're gonna mail out the credit disputes to all 3 of the credit bureaus. You know, the credit repair agencies, they tell you that it has to be sent certified mail. You wanna be notified when they receive it, because the countdown as far as how long the credit reporting agencies have to fight the dispute starts from when the credit bureaus acknowledge receipt of your letters. You can do that. It's optional to do that. I'm going to tell you this. I've helped dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of people fix their credit, and I have never, not once, sent these letters out through certified mail. I never paid any fees to do certified mail. I know the credit repair agencies are going to say that, and that's how they justify what you're paying them. Again, I'm not charging nobody here for these services. I'm just telling you what I've done. I'm telling you what I've seen work, and I'm telling you what I know. It's been proven, and I have fixed my credit 3 to 4 times. I learned this process from my uncle, who has fixed his credit probably 5 to 6 times. So I know that it works, right? Here's another thing that I'm going to tell you, and this is going to be from left field. I know for a fact, spiritually, people who have worked with me to fix their credit and they've paid for services, I used to charge, right? I've charged as little as nothing, and I've charged as much as $1,000 for this service, right? People who believe in it, they trust and believe in the process. I have seen it work miracles for them quicker than expected. And people who are skeptical but still decide to move forward with the process, I've seen it take forever for it to work. So you just have to know, trust, and pray on it that it's going to work. And even if it doesn't work in the first round, all you do is the follow-up. Grant Cardone says it all the time. The fortune is in the follow-up. So that goes with trying to create an opportunity just as much as it comes to putting fires out and fixing problems, which is all this is. So while you're doing this process, also start to read new material around money. You know what I'm saying? You want to learn financial literacy. Pretty much the main thing about it is that, let's be real, our parents did not know. They were working off of the little bit they did know from what was passed on to them. Secondly, they're from a generation where now certain things, we have a lot more access to information that they did not have access to. All the traditional things, like before, one income can support an entire household. That's not happening these days. It's an entrepreneur who has created a business that earns a lot of money to support a family, right? It's just not happening with one single income. So we have to equip ourselves with the knowledge. And Steven, you and I know we make boatloads of money at a time. And then we squander it, and then we make it again, and then we squander it. And it's just like, it's a pattern, it's a behavior. Again, we're not being taught how to manage money. We're not being taught how to manage ourselves and our behaviors and remain disciplined, because we're disciplined as hell when we ain't got it, right? We ain't got no choice. We got to buckle down and work hard, right? And it's because like, is that level of consciousness. I have proposed to a couple of my colleagues on multiple occasions, like, yo, why don't we just give this information out for free? And every time I mention giving anything away for free, they're always like, yo, that's too much. Like, you're giving away too much. This is valuable information. And it's like, I'm done listening to them. And I'm just like, yo, I'm gonna just give this away for free. I don't care who has it. I don't care who copies it. Like, I want everybody around me to be in a better position. You guys could take this book down. This book helped me reframe my mind and manage my money differently. And it's called The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And I would say order it as soon as possible. I'm gonna get this information to you. Okay, I'm gonna get the digital copy of my ebook to you as well. So you have any more questions? I know Steven fell off, but you have any more questions? Anything you can think of? As soon as anything comes up, feel free to reach out. You have any questions? I'm here to support you, and I will let you know whenever I have any content.
Okay, thank you, Robert. I appreciate it.
All right, so I'm gonna jump now. You have a wonderful afternoon.